Welcome back to our study on the Great Commission. Apologize for the raspy voice this morning. I had a little too much wind yesterday, but I think I can keep it together long enough to do this. We are back in our study with Tony Evans' book, Kingdom Disciples. We are on Lesson 3, which is entitled Bold Confession. And Tony, from the very start of this, makes this comment. From the start, I want to be very clear. Your salvation is free. And from Romans 3:23 through 24, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, are justified by his grace as a gift, through the redemption that is in Jesus Christ. And again in Ephesians 2:8 through 9, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing, it is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. The Bible is very clear. Your salvation cost you nothing. Jesus paid the price. Okay, that's established. You are saved by what Christ did, but you are a disciple because you cooperate with Christ by what you do. You are saved by faith apart from works. That's made very clearly and thoroughly in the book of Romans. But you become a disciple by a faith that does work. And this is spelled out in the second chapter of James. Now, that passage in James has caused a lot of confusion in this regard, but you got to read it within the context of itself, because James was not written to non-believers. If you go back and read it closely, you can tell he is speaking to other believers who are already saved. He's talking to them about works that come after salvation. In other words, he's saying that faith without work will keep your faith dormant. And we don't want that, obviously. Discipleship requires a commitment, and your commitment to Christ must transcend all your other relations when they come in conflict. Many Christians have been rejected by their family because of their faith. Many have lost jobs and even their life because of their commitment to Christ. It does come with a cost. There are two things you have to do, Tony says, to become a disciple. Number one, you got to come to him. You got to be saved. And number two, you have to carry your cross. Luke 9:23 clearly says, and he said to all, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. So what does that mean in the real world? Well, here's what Tony has to say about it. He says, your cross as a kingdom disciple is the price tag that comes with your public identification with him. And there will be a cost. Your relationships at work may change. You may become known as the Bible thumper. People may shun you because they don't understand the difference that's in you. You may become the subject of ridicule in your life, on social media, and your relationships. You got to stop and think about how you spend your time if you want to be identified with Jesus. People are watching what you do as a believer, and they want to see what the difference is between you and someone that's completely lost in the world. They want to see how you've changed, and they're watching you constantly, whether you are aware of it or like it or not. You are a witness, whether you want to be one or not. You've heard some version of this question. If you are accused of being a visible, verbal follower of Christ, would you be convicted? Or, as Tony puts it, to be a kingdom disciple means that you wisely and appropriately make it clear that you are a Christian. Now, let's unpack that a little bit. The words wise and appropriate are important here, because it has so much to do with our way we present ourselves. Back when I was a kid, it was common for people witnessing to get up in someone's face and confront them about their lifestyle. And I don't know why it was popular, because it didn't ever work, even once that I ever saw. Angrily confronting someone is probably the worst thing you can do. You're just going to drive them deeper into their denial. and make it harder for the next person that comes along and tries to share with them. And also, we've all known that obnoxious Christian that has a superior, haughty attitude, and that's wildly inappropriate as well. Humility is the only way to go. Pride in all its forms is a killer. It's just devastating to your witness and to my witness. So we have to strive daily to be Christ-like in our behaviors and our attitudes, and it ain't easy, right? It slips out. We all step in it once in a while, but the difference is that as kingdom disciples, we try to correct what we get wrong and try to grow in our faith and in our spiritual depth. As Tony puts it, you're not just a Christian going to heaven, you're a kingdom disciple who is heaven joining you on earth. So that's the thrust of the lesson. If you would be a kingdom disciple, you have to be out as a Christian. If you're in stealth mode all the time, you're saved, but you're not a kingdom disciple. And we have to wisely, appropriately, and lovingly be Christ's representatives here on earth. And that is the end of that lesson. So what can you do? Again, you can watch Tony's sermon on this subject. You won't be sorry you did that. I'll put a link to it down in the description, and hopefully you've got that bookmarked in your YouTube channels by now, and that way you'll get notified whenever this new content shows up. Also, be a good idea to continue reading his book, Kingdom Disciples. I'll put a link to that down there as well. And until next lesson, I'll be signing off. With Numbers 6:24 through 26, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.